understand why. And that was just made worse during the shipping, because this stuff was always hidden in some crazy way, and it could get really hot roasting in the sun while it was shipping. So now you're just killing your terpenes even more than the quick sun dry or the big huge press did. And you never really knew how the bricks you ended up getting had actually been shipped. Some of this stuff got shipped in gas tanks or inside of other chemicals, and you just had to hope that the plastic and tape on the bricks kept all the gasoline out of your stash. That's not the kind of gas you want to smoke. So this stuff was hard, ugly, full of seeds, maybe mildewed or molded, and possibly contaminated with pesticides or gasoline. Perfect. But these bricks had even darker secrets than that. So it's no surprise that most of the cannabis that was coming across the border was being grown or at least controlled by the cartels. And these same routes they used for trafficking drugs like cannabis were also really good for trafficking other things too, like trafficking people. First off, the cartels would often exploit or intimidate vulnerable people like women and young people to smuggle brickweed and lots of other things across the border against their will. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. These cartels were also known to use these same routes for actual trafficking of humans. I did not understand that I was helping to fund that. And the cartels are bad, but the government can be just as horrible. And if anything has taught us this, it's the only other kind of Mexican weed that I can think of that is worse than brickweed. Paraquat pot was a joint effort between the U.S. and Mexican government where cannabis was poisoned on purpose, specifically to make the people who smoked it get sick, or maybe even die. The U.S. government seemed like they were willing to do anything to stop people from using cannabis. And you won't believe how insane the feds really went until you watch this video, where you're going to learn everything about the poisonous history of Mexican paraquat pot. And think, the U.S. government hates it when cannabis comes across our borders, and they have tried all kinds of things to stop it. Border crossing checks, Coast Guard ships, and even surveillance plans. But when all of that didn't work, the government decided they would just poison everyone's weed supply with what one physician called the most deadly killer since the atom bomb. This is the true story of paraquat pot. The hippie counterculture in the 60s and 70s was an iconic and beautiful time. Cannabis was coming into the U.S. from all over the world. People were experimenting with new mind-altering substances, and they were advocating for love instead of war. But this terrified the government to their core. They didn't want people to think for themselves. They hated hippies, and they hated the substances they were using. Plus, they really loved going to war. President Nixon especially hated drug use, and before he had 3
Can I get a couple of y'all to like the stream?
Causing him to
Can we get to 2 likes, y'all?
In 1974, he started the DEA and declared an all-out war on drugs. The complete eradication of all marijuana use was a top priority for the Nixon administration, and they were prepared to do anything to keep people from getting a little.
Do y'all like the stream? Can I get to like 3 likes, y'all? I'm gonna spark that wood in a minute. Give me the 3 likes, I'm gonna spark that wood.
The Nixon administration and their brand new drug enforcement agency was just using all of these new drug laws to target specific communities that they didn't like. An assistant to the president was famously quoted saying, "You want to know what this war on drugs was really all about?" The Nixon campaign in 1968 and the Nixon White House after that had 2 enemies: the anti-war left and black people. You understand what I'm saying? We couldn't make it illegal to be either against the war or black.
What's up, Tony?
Getting the public to associate the hippies with marijuana and blacks with heroin, and then criminalizing both heavily, we could disrupt those communities. We could arrest their leaders, raid their homes.
Hey, can I get to 3 likes? I'm gonna spark this wood right now.
After night on the evening news. Did we know we were lying about the drugs? Of course we did. And we still see the effects of this drug war today with over 1.5 million drug arrests every year, with around 550,000 of those arrests being just for cannabis alone, and almost 500,000 people incarcerated for nothing more than a simple drug law violation. And that's already bad enough, but back in Nixon's day, the government was just straight up poisoning people who were getting stoned. The government had no idea what to do to stop weed from coming over the border, and they were doing a horrible job of stopping people from getting their buds. This made them really aggravated and pissed off, and the sudden influx of heroin coming into the U.S. after Vietnam only made things worse. The government was trying to come up with anything they could do to stop all these drugs, and that's when they decided to switch their efforts away from stopping drugs at the border. Instead of trying to stop the drugs at the border, the government enlisted scientists to begin looking
Thanks for the
for a
like.
way to contaminate
Make sure y'all
marijuana
comment. The
itself.
people that are liking,
And they
make sure you
actually
comment
thought,
so I
oh,
can
what
post
if
you on
we
my other
put
channel.
something on the
Got
weed that
14,000
makes
subscribers on my
everyone get
original
sick,
channel.
and then the word will get out that the weed is dangerous, so people will just stop smoking
Make sure y'all go to my original channel. It's Bdo, BDOUGH.
that was quickly set aside for something much worse. By 1975, heroin addiction and marijuana use was at an all-time high in the U.S. And since lots of the poppy and cannabis that came into the U.S. was being grown in Mexico, the government came up with a terrible idea. They decided that they shouldn't be the ones spraying the crops directly, because then they could look responsible for whatever horrible things might happen to people because of it. So they decided to have the Mexican government do their dirty work for them. For now, at least. The Mexican government was facing its own problems with the Sinaloa cartel and their ever-growing $2 billion a year industry.
Put some wax up in there.
And that's when the United States swooped in with
Good
Operation Clearview. The U.S. State Department and the DEA wanted to make a deal. They would help the Mexican officials get rid of poppy fields if Mexico did all the work, and they also got rid of the cannabis fields while they were at it. And they wanted them to do this by spraying the fields with helicopters. The U.S. government agreed to provide helicopters and trained pilots, as well as about $15 million of taxpayer money for every year of the operation. And the Mexican government agreed. This was 1975. It was decided that the poison that they would spray on the crops is a super deadly herbicide called paraquat. Paraquat is a non-selective herbicide that kills green plant tissue on contact. And when it's sprayed on plants, it's tasteless and odorless, so you would never know if the weed you were smoking had been sprayed with it or not. Paraquat is fatal to all mammals, including humans, and it is so deadly and fast-acting that it is frequently used in and poisoning deaths throughout much of the third world. Paraquat is illegal in many places, and the U.S. government rates that it is in toxicity category 1, which is the most toxic level. Depending on the dose and method of ingestion, paraquat can be immediately fatal or can lead to kidney, liver, lung, and even heart failure for up to 30 days after exposure. A physician who watched a perfectly healthy man die after drinking paraquat called this herbicide the most deadly killer since the atom bomb. And even though the government was fully aware that paraquat gets concentrated in your lungs even if you eat it, and even though they were aware that it could be fatal in tiny amounts, they went ahead with this insane plan, and they delivered helicopters and pilots and $16 million worth of U.S. taxpayer money to Mexico to poison all these plants. But there was a huge problem. Lots of the people that lived in the areas that were being sprayed were just farmers that depended on their crops to survive and provide food and shelter for their families. The paraquat would completely destroy the poppy plants on contact, making them completely unusable for heroin production and therefore worthless, which caused lots of farmers to completely lose their livelihoods overnight. But the paraquat didn't have that same effect on the cannabis fields. It would kill the weed plants, but the farmers soon realized they could still salvage their harvest if they just cut down the plants right after they got sprayed. The weed wasn't going to die now because they cut it down, and it was still there in their hands. They still had it, it just had the poison on it. But they were still able to sell it if they wanted to, or if they had to make a living. And since growing weed could allow you to earn 25 times the average income of that area, almost all of the opium farmers just switched over to growing cannabis. And this was the way they made a living. So these farmers kept harvesting this paraquat poison weed, and it kept getting shipped north into the United States. And the DEA was fully aware that this was happening, but they didn't care at all. After this spraying began, some tests showed that up to 30% of the weed making its way into America was tainted with paraquat. And some samples contained concentrations of paraquat that were 40,000 times higher than the recommended domestic use. The U.S. State Department and the DEA were fully aware of the dangers of paraquat, and they knew that this tainted weed was flooding into the U.S., especially into California. But they decided not to even warn the public about the dangers of this tainted weed, so this just went on for years until they got caught. In 1977, when the U.S. Senate finally heard about this, they lost their shit and began to hold multiple hearings to try to learn the extent of what had been happening. By early 1978, the public first began to learn about the true dangers of what was quickly dubbed paraquat pot. But even after all of this was exposed, the president, the DEA, and the State Department all pushed to keep spraying with paraquat. And they even tried to convince the American public that it was safe to smoke, despite knowing all the dangers. It wasn't until an old friend came to the rescue that all of this finally stopped. In a study by the British chemical company Imperial Chemical Industries, rats that inhaled paraquat showed development of squamous metaplasia in their respiratory tracts after only a couple weeks. But the U.S. Public Health Service claimed that this study should not be used to calculate the safe inhalation dose of paraquat in humans. And the State Department and the DEA didn't have much else to say. They thought this Operation Clearview was a success just because of how much opium it had killed. They just sort of shrugged it all off. They were like, if you don't want to risk the dangers of paraquat, you could just choose to not use marijuana. But even if they would have been completely honest about it at the time, it might not have even made a big difference just because of all the other lies they had told about cannabis in the past. After years of lying to the public, the Secretary of Health finally made a public statement about the dangers of smoking weed from Mexico, citing studies that paraquat could cause severe lung damage, but people didn't really believe it. I found a quote from a woman who was in her 20s at the time this statement was made, when roughly 60% of the U.S. weed supply came from Mexico, and she said no one believed it. The government had told so many ridiculous lies about the supposed dangers of marijuana during the 60s and early 70s that most of the people I knew who smoked pot just assumed that this was yet another lie and carried on as usual. So people ended up smoking this tainted weed for years, and it wasn't ever stopped until NORML stepped in and filed a lawsuit against the State Department, the DEA, and the Department of Agriculture. They explained to the district court the dangers of the paraquat poisoning, and NORML won the case, forcing the U.S. government to suspend funding for paraquat spraying in Mexico. But that didn't mean the government was done poisoning people just yet. And the next time they sprayed weed with paraquat, it would happen right here on U.S. soil. In 1983, it was uncovered that lots of law enforcement officials in the state of Georgia had been helping smuggle in plane loads of drugs from Mexico, and had also facilitated the planting and cultivation of multiple large marijuana farms in Georgia's Chattahoochee forest. Nixon was out of office by this time, and now Ronald Reagan was president. Reagan was pissed that so many state officials were involved in drug trafficking, and he had a plan for retaliation: paraquat poisoning. The DEA began to once again spray paraquat on cannabis in the forest of Georgia, and they promised that they would continue to spray paraquat everywhere weed was being grown in the U.S. So still, after everything that had happened before, the president and the DEA still decided to use this super deadly herbicide that they knew could very easily hurt or even kill people, just to stop people from getting a little stoned. And this super poisonous herbicide was also contaminating the land and the water in the areas where they were spraying, so luckily it was quickly banned again. But it was banned for environmental concerns, not because anyone was concerned about cannabis consumers. And even that still wasn't the end of paraquat. In 1988, the DEA announced that it would once again start spraying cannabis crops in the U.S. with deadly paraquat sprays. And they continued those sprays until it was finally banned a third time by the feds in the 90s. It isn't really known exactly how many people were made very sick, disabled, or maybe even died from paraquat poisoning because of these insane and disgusting government policies. They lied about it for years, and we've never done any notable studies about how toxic it can really be to smoke this paraquat pot. The government tried to lie about weed being dangerous dangerous for so long, and come to find out, they were poisoning the weed to make it dangerous. But even though cannabis is now generally considered to be safe, some grow facilities will replace the chemicals in your bud with thousands of these tiny little bugs. Gross. These bugs could be all over your bud right now, and in this video I'll explain exactly what they are and why the dispensary is putting thousands of them onto the plants you buy every day. I'll see you there. California and Colorado have been leading the way for the cannabis market for a long time, but what state actually has the better weed? That's what we're about to find out. I live in Colorado, so I work and shop in the Colorado market all the time. And every time I go to California, I make it a point to try out as much flower as I can while I'm there. I've shopped at tons of dispensaries in both of these states, and in this video, I'm going to try to explain who actually has the best bud. First, I'm going to show you some of the weird differences and similarities that you will see.
It's not a day. It's a season. You made this shit. This shit go crazy.
I see you, DX. Like you should lean on cough. And just put her in the cheese in my coffee. I can give you the lifestyle you want. Want Chanel, then you got it. Yeah, you the time I ring my neck when you walk it. You feel the pain, it ain't the same when I talk it. And I keep popping Percocets, now I'm nauseous. Why? Shit ain't the same anymore. Rich nigga, and he came on the phone like, wow. All I hear is pay when I mop it. Young nigga, I been paid from the topic. It's 580 straight when I guess it. I took my niggas out the trenches to a mansion. I'm only going out of state for a back end. The only way that this money escapes if I trash it. Nigga, if you really have your pay, go and spend it. The only reason you don't live like me, cause it's expensive. Overpouring all this drink, I don't measure. Bad habits, I spent 20K on expenses. They was hanging on that block till I spent it. Young nigga, diamonds in my teeth for the dentist. Yo, nigga, fuck you, told you right to this check here. Really haven't spent your life savings on a necklace. Lifestyle you want, want Chanel, then you got it. Yeah, you the time I ring my neck when you walk it. You feel the pain, it ain't the same when I'm talking. And I keep popping Percocets, now I'm nauseous. Wow. Remember I was broke, now 20K on my wrist. These niggas some hoes, they out wasting my bitch. We got money for the bars, buy 100 some sticks. Never going poor, get it, they get more rich. I won't never for these hoes, they slime me, they selfish. And the trust for this rare, these niggas be so iffy. I don't need your love, just tell me that you with me. Not for real. When you start, we can't eat together at my table. For real. When you start, we can't eat together, I'm so fed up. Not for real. Guess what the devil, these thoughts fucking my head up. I miss you, girl. I just got a brand new whip. I just met a bad little. I feel good, I'ma go and buy fit. I just spent 2K to go and have my look. They don't wanna see me happy, see me winning. I had to go and put in work, you niggas didn't. I'm popping in my city, had to get my windows tinted. Swear that nigga crazy, you can't say that nigga isn't. I just see it back cause I know nothing about no killing. I rap about more, but I already know they always listen. I don't know nothing about no shooting, about no robbing, about no stealing. Swear that nigga pressure, all these niggas and they feeling. Swear that nigga pressure, he's a bully. I ain't about to let no niggas say they fucking take me. Put up on the strip and we don't hesitate. I know they see a step, you see it on the way. Ain't about to sugarcoat nothing, I'ma tell you how it is. I do it for the niggas, we had nothing in the fridge. My nigga Polo back, we in this city for a win. We just hit the mall, it's crazy how they want pigs. We came a long way, we used to talk about this shit. We came a long way, they used to doubt it all the time. I keep thinking about the show, so I got money on my mind. Look, my mom made it all slow twin, I know that he be on the show. Going drop 100 shots, I bet he gon' be low fin. No shit get put in motion, ammunition get loaded. $1,000 whips and I'm still driving like you stolen. Been rocking this and all this VS diamonds in my rolling. Pull up sipping, serving, swerving, it's my ladies. Slider hopping out on 50, gon' touch that pavement. My young nigga drop hits and drop off pavements. So my niggas leave them on to the grave here. My bitch want no BB, I don't want no nada. She want a Mary, she want Ricky, she want money.
Y'all drop a like for me. I appreciate y'all joining.
Truck, I'm mobbing out in dark shit, huh? All this money coming in and shit retarded. Ain't no faking, no richer than I started. Play smart with it for life, what I talk brown here. If you my dog, we right or wrong, just ain't no folding up. I'm TCP, now we got them poles in the church, just the AMG. Yeah, that petty load and you die for me, cause I die for you. All of this commotion, keep playing with my emotions. You know I die for you, I slide for you. Fucking hit, I slow twin, I don't let it be on the show. Calling drop 100 shots, I bet he gon' be low fin. No shit get put in motion, ammunition get loaded. $1,000 whips and I'm still driving like you stolen. Ain't rocking this and I VS diamonds in my rolling.
Gang, I'm sucking cat. I'm clean up off that porch. I prefer that Gucci belt cause I ain't rocking my course. With a slip up on that block. Go check the news report. Running funny JFA, me ain't gon' fuck up the spinal cord. If you saying that you feel me, I don't see it. Where the left? All them lockdowns on them streets. Ain't doing it like this. I'm running phase way in the beach. Get to pop, any nigga want pie dogs, I'm a solve them, I give it up, I got monsters, they be locked up, 207, I be coughing, off disaster. My chopper get to pop up, any nigga want pie dogs, I'm a solve them, I give it up, I got monsters, they be locked up, 207, I be coughing, off disaster, they be hitting, I be flocking, don't get robbed, don't catch you slipping into knocking, she start dropping, the way I hit it, I got shot, they still squabbling, really twisted, if I'm blinding, I'm pushing my button, they tryna knock me down for the system, fuck your young homies, nigga, I'm a disser, and them hoes tryna lay my miss up, I was riding on the block, rollers on my ass, so I had to lose some. Bitch, I had to make a fly. These bitches are like dick, so I make it my job. I'm ballin'. Now all these hoes callin'. Remember I was down, I was crawling. Ain't nobody was calling. Remember I was down. Had a frown on my face. Hit that bitch and I ain't leave, ain't no trace. Yeah. Ain't no trace. I'm getting to the money like a motherfucking race. My chopper get to pop up. Any nigga want pie dogs, I'm a solve them. I can hit them, I got monsters, they be locked up. 207, I be coughing, off disaster. If you hit it, I be flocking. Don't get robbed, don't catch you slipping, get to knocking. She start dropping, the way I hit it, I got shot out. They still swapping, bitty twisted. If I'm guarding, I'll push my button, be a big phone. Feel like everything is falling, I'm feeling heartless. You can't run from your problems if they just started. There was so many snakes hiding in my garden. Started stepping on their necks, now they ain't a problem. As a child, I caused problems, too deep to solve them. Remember looking at my pockets like I got nothing. So if I spot them, then I got them and do his wallet. In case they ever blast off, I'ma keep my rocket. They like, you can't take that trip if you can't stay silent. I got into complications, I keep rock bottom. I ain't talking dirty balls when I say I'm out in. Yeah, I changed if we being honest. How you supposed to be soft hanging out with goblins? They look at me like a robber, but I had water. It's right or wrong in this life, ain't nobody flawless. Fill my cup up with potion, I'm feeling my chopper get to pop up. Any nigga want pie dogs, I'ma solve them. I get. I said I was gonna stop, but I can't. It's like I always gotta stay with my thing. I be going back to back, for the back to the bank. Hey, none of this foreign night sliding in on stand. I used to say you wanna make it, but your mind is always blank. I'm a nigga at the park, need the park or land. They're like 2022, no land. Always lived in years, come on, nigga, come get some man. I love the flex, I ain't never had shit. Hey, I had to go and get my bag big. I fit money like a bird, make it do a bag flip. Ain't wanna see me slide with a fucking bad bitch. Bitch, I'm smoking gas on big.
about no cane. Hey, I be eating chicken, no cane. Hey, my nigga with the shit, no brain. I got a lot of shit to do, to prove. Hey, I be making moves on slow. I'ma go and hit it lick, no stool. They like, swear you gotta change, I'm like, boo. Hey, nigga, you a weenie, no pool. Niggas acting like they winning, but these niggas no boom. I said I was gonna stop, but I can't. It's like I always gotta stay with my thing. I be going back to back, for the back to the bank. Hey, nigga, this shit foreign, I ain't sliding in no stank. I just say you wanna make it, but your mind is always blank. I'm the nigga at the park, niggas the park or land. They're like 2022, no land. Put it little years, come on, nigga, come get some man. Yeah, hey, look like nigga be talking about robbing shit. Niggas ain't never robbed shit, nigga. I robbed a nigga last week. No cap, nigga. That shit regular. Bitch, then mud walked in demons.
Y'all hit that like button.
I can never change.
Y'all can do that. It's free.
I'm surrounded with the same ones. Fully extended, my niggas really are dangerous. You ain't done a thought of it, then show me who you came with. I'ma shoot my shot with your bitch like I'm in Cambridge. If you ain't breathing in no
buddy.
Yeah. I'm getting jiggy, I be sipping on some love. Set tripping on these niggas just for fun. My bro fella, he's some carrier on the gun. Junkie rollers on my ass cause I be active. I be bringing my money cause I'm trapping. I'm in the field, nigga, I barely be rapping. You talking down on the floor, we get to clapping. I'm a real 619 baby. These problems in these streets really got me going crazy. I've been getting faded on the road, I've been so lazy. Niggas need some crowd, they keep saying that they made me.
You a dummy. I think she played you and she wasted all your money.
Now you be laughing, I really think it's funny.
On the real, she's so sweet, just like honey.
I'm on the way, going far from my problems. You gotta understand what's follow all these hot ones.
Baby really came up from the bottom.
I'm in the way, going far from my problems. You see my jeans, baby, really got some knots. Johnny's coming, so I hide it in my sock. Drugs flowing, yeah, we really up to stop. You get in front of me, my nigga, you get dropped. Look at me, girl, John, saucy it and never. And if I bring it back, when I pull up, change the weather. Niggas copying my style, bars lighter than a feather. Baby said she fell in love and now she wanna wear my sweaters. Southeast, baby, and she got me going great. Even though we in the mud, pray to God we get some faith. School was never for me, I was always coming late. Get your baby, get your buck, shawty, I ain't tryna hate. Yeah. I ain't tryna hate. I ain't tryna hate.
Pull some of that bass out.
Hey, the baddest bitches hold me down. Keep the weight on my chest, I'm not golden child. She pull up, touchdown when I'm back in town. Got a Uber for the shooter, better ask around. Hey, she snuck backstage to the homie, put her up on back page. Bitch made it, I'ma leave it up to Beaver. You probably fuck Justin Bieber, don't think that I need you. Heard your pussy was either, but look what we got over. If I could leave it up to Beaver, she probably fuck Justin Bieber. Ain't one reason that I need you. Shit, I was told that I'm a demon, but I'ma leave it up to Jesus. Shit, bitch, beat it. If I could leave it up to Beaver, she probably fuck Justin Bieber. I'm chasing steak, man. Shit, I don't need you at the Battle of the Masons anymore in the evening. Now I'm a hater. Yes, indeed, I got attitude. She ain't my bitch. If you could have her two, pass her through. Draco be pouring massive juice, 1,000 blues in the air, at least show some gratitude. Slapping dudes, give you what you asking for. Draco with the ratchet for. You know me, I be acting slump. Why you always packing guns? Really think you cracking, huh? Duh, bitch, I been getting money. Better ask your son. Tommy from Rugrats in the backyard blasting guns. Who this nigga think he should? If he made a man down before a nigga think he could, bitch, bait it. Bitch, bait it. If
if I can leave it up to Beaver. She probably fucked Justin Bieber. Name one reason that I need you. Shit, I was told that I'm a demon, but I'ma leave that up to Jesus.
Can you make the beat louder or is this something here? Let's make another one. It's all the way up here. Can you make the beat louder? Look up the one you see, no three way of the spirit. I want my young, but I never feel embarrassed. Bitch, I know. I need a blunt though, for real, right? With these trash bags, I'm in my bag. I can show you how to stack rags. When I send her on the road, she bring the rags back. I got it on my waist, you need, got it in your backpack. All the fake love, I had to trash that. I just got a new Benz, all matte black. I feel like Santa with these trash bags. And we smoking on this gas by the key. They're like, boy, you always make the room read. I feel like everybody hate you low key. Ain't nobody help me get back on my feet. Ain't nobody care, so I don't care about your peace. I'm a trash bag boy that's waiting on me in the street. My city where I'm from, we gon' serve at 13. We gon' try to make it back without trying to make it seem. I know this shit's coming, niggas know me on the way. You going to the top, you wanna see it in the grave. If you don't use, you're gonna throw it away. Shit, thought she for the team, she can't be saved. I don't want love, I want money, so I hit the road. You ain't really getting love, I'm on a different ball. I just wanna fuck, I wanna love, we ain't getting close. I put a match and get a bag, I swear I do them all. I ran it up with these gas packs. I feel like Santa with these trash bags. I'm in my bag, I can show you how to stack rags. When I send out.
What's cracking? It's Tommy Guns. Eastbound is where I'm at. And when your boy gets lonely, I'll go earn another tat. You heard that I can rap, so now you all up on my sack. And you remember when I would just post up in the back? Now I'm from the hood and leave you busters laid flat. Just rock with me and hit her doing damage on these straps. I'm the youngest from my hood, bringing food's pain, and that's a fact. And I don't know how to act, you taking long, just pass the strap. Pixie, California, where your boy learned how to rap. Suda gang, baby, you must not know who I am. I may not be the man, but I got pistols in my hand. Gang banging life be crazy when you trying to raise a baby. I just wanna feed the family, fuck a bitch in a Mercedes. This dude from SSP doing shit big, you should be game. Now why the fuck I gotta ask you 2 times if you game? My little homie 16 and packing clips for fuck the fame. Eastbound is where I'm at.
When your boy gets lonely, I'll go earn another tat. You heard that I could rap, so now you all up on my sack. Hey, you remember when I would just post up in the back? Now I'm from the hood and leave you busters lay flat. Just block on me and hater doing damage on these straps. I'm the youngest from my hood bringing food's pain, and that's a fact. And I don't know how to act, you taking long, just pass this track. And everybody's ears rang with Pistoletto did his thing. I'm really from the gang, but still nobody feel my pain. Not even my bitch before the dick, she go insane. Walking in the rain with 38s inside my waist. God, I hate the cars that always deal, I gotta say. Had a baby at 15, your grandma Ben had passed away. My mom's my baby mama and my bitch all call me Julian. This fool just got out the county jail, acting a fool again. Smoking on exotic, buster pack, the fuck is hooligan. And I swear this shit don't phase me, plus I drive your lady crazy. And you know what's hella crazy, fool, she tryna have my baby. Alone is tacky, Callejones, where I'm from and keep a gun. And if you from my town, it's either Beaksville gang or none. On the east side, fucking shit up, they know I'm dumb. Whenever I'm in bounds, I'll hit you up, don't give a fuck. And remember your boy gave you back shots when I was on the run?
That's some real shit right there.
I woke up in the studio, nigga, 6 a.m., nigga. I was just grinding, nigga. When I was 9, never thought I'd have a 9. I wanna take it light, cause that nigga wanna take mine. He be talking about the lie, but they tell me that he be lying. Heard he wanna be like me, but really I don't even mind. First shit I seen about a nigga, bitch, I'm doing fine. All the money, I'ma get it till I fucking die. Chosen one for my people, I'm always grind. A nigga doing better, so now she in my line. I don't wanna fake love, bitch, stay away. I'm riding to the beach, shot at 88. I'm about to turn myself in, but it ain't straight. I did it to myself, cause I went this way. I got open case, still with a K. I'm still with the strap, still with the fade. I got a big fan base, they say I got a chain. I'm still hard-headed, nigga, fuck the fame. Fake love that you be showing, that shit made me laughter. When I was locked up, you ain't even answer. You should care about you first, care about me after. I'm that little nigga with a big glamour. I'm that little nigga causing trouble. Yeah, I had a hustle. Need what you know about the struggle. Before I take a dub, I will fumble. It's 2020, everybody wanna be a boss. But ain't nobody wanna take a lot. I ain't even 21, I'm in the club. That bitch 33, heard she wanna fuck. Told her my money 33, but I'm money 20. She said it's cool cause I'm fly, so she gon' let me. But she won't let me fuck for the night. I'm to the point where I don't even gotta try it. Geeked up, I just took a red light. Just do it tight with like 5 pipes.
On my bad, I just fucked on your wife, Okay, do it like it's right. Limelight like it's right. One too many, I can't let you try twice. Born a man, but still a bitch. Boy, you gon' die. I'm in the stool with like hip pose. Fucking another nigga's hoes. Try your luck. Bitch, I'm the realest with exposed. I'll pull up all white like it's sun up your nose. AK-47 on the preteen 12 gauge. Everything smooth, I call sway. I'm a double back and fuck a bitch in my ball main.
I'm a trick on a pussy cause I like it. And she know I ain't shit, but she like it. Dive in, all this water on me, you can dive in. Go be your bum, I can touch you and like em. Thinking I'm the one, maybe I'm not, baby, so slow down. Niggas still worry about the next, that's so old now. Really game fast life, I can't slow down. I can't slow down, no. I just wanna see, for real. What I do, what you do for me, for real. I just wanna see, for real. What I do, what you do for me, for real. What I do, what you do for me, for real. What I do, what you do for me, for real. But somebody show me what it is. Have you ever took a trip off the disc? Have you ever got it back from your bitch? Have you ever went and bust down your wrist? Being broke, what I thought was solid for the first, I ain't need them no. And then that's so fat, I love that shit, I hate to see her go. I hate to see her go. I wanna dive in, slide in. I'm a trick on a pussy cause I like it. And she know I ain't shit, but she like it. Dive in, all this water on me, you can dive in. Go be your bum, I can touch you and like em. Thinking I'm the one, maybe I'm not, baby, so slow down. Niggas still worry about the next, that's so old now. Really gang fast life, I can't slow down. I can't slow down, no.
She open, I get my shit right. Motherfucking gun, man. Famous gangbanger. I know that I'll be fine, but I can't get right. Everybody judging below me ain't got their chips right. Sticking to the plan, got wrote me the perfect script right. Got my brain for me, she hoping I get my shit right. But I can't get right. Motherfucking famous gangbanger. Everybody judging below me ain't got their chips right. Sticking to the plan, got wrote me the perfect script right. Yeah. You say you thinking of somebody else, I am too. The bag, baby. I grew up a fucking school, said I act crazy. I manifested it, pulling up in the new Mercedes, battling demons. Pull up in the demon on God. Look, mama, I made it, and words can't explain. I'm terrible in the suburban with the murder gang. My palms sweat against the top of the murder. You better wear your fucking sweat, I'll leave you dead on the curb. For better or worse, whenever I was sitting in church, my grandma wanted me to change my ways, but baby, it hurts. Thinking we dissing again. Did you try to kill it in the bed? With no baby mama drama, my daughter only 11 months round with the llama. Dolce Gabbana, shorty wanted to be a thing, never said it was drama. My mama's, I think I'm mentally homie the way I told them choppers. Marco, walk the flock on the block with a shotgun. Everybody judging below me ain't got their chips right. Sticking to the bag, I'm on me the perfect script right. Got my brain for me, she hoping I get my shit right. I can get right. Everybody judging below me ain't got their chips right. Sticking to the bag, I'm on me the perfect script. And I've been running up a bag from
It's 22 hard, it's 22 though. Me and Road Dog just post some craving. Left this stick at home and now I'm feeling naked. I know we the hottest, but keep on in my conversations. I know that he popped up, that he was never down to take trips. I might stop a bitch if she gets scuffed upon these Masons. Ain't no new friends, just these Franklins. Ain't no new friends, they all dead on some paper. Ain't no new friends, I'm with the same familiar faces. I've been fixing our codeine. Why they act like they know me?
I can't let a nigga hold me. Perky till they keep me low key.
I'm pressing for me. These Percocets got me floating.
My purple cup is screaming, hold me. When I was broke, that was the old me. I can bust some subies, I can't fit my bag in them. Me and 22 together, that's a bag in it. Can I wear my clock with me like it's fashion? got the tutoring.
Who don't go for me?
Yeah, blow space into some smithereens.
I've been pissing on codeine. Why they act like they know me?
I can't let a nigga hold me. Cranky shit that keep me low key.
Purple cups and pony. These Percocets got me floating.
My purple cup is screaming, hold me. When I was broke, that was the old me.
Blow too fat, it got me sagging. And don't forget I got this off the back end. I just threw a jackpot, I sex fit. If I tell her I love her, she bring that back in. This guy no bitch back at me when I back in. 2020, hold on, we the back 20s. 22, no hoes, saying blow they back in. 22, no rolls laying in the mattress.
Katie in the wood, on my wood sagging. I just bought some foods, got some new bagging. Have you ever left outside the pain with that blue bagging? Built to the top with some blue caps. Dressed like I need a red beam. I know some C's, but I'm from the red team.